everyone. So, look at that hair. Sorry, I was just cleaning, but I wanted to take some time today. We went to my follow-up appointment, and I told you guys I was going to update about what's going on with baby Marshall. Now that I've done his name reveal, I can refer to him by name. You know what? Let me start at our 12-week ultrasound. I actually went and did that. Well, it was supposed to be the NT scan, which is looking for fluid behind their neck. Not a big deal. Mine was at 13 weeks because I went to the doctor's at what I thought was 12 weeks, and he moved my due date up. So I was 12 weeks and 6 days. We go in, and he did not want to participate in that at all. He wouldn't move to the point where we could see the fluid behind his neck to measure it. So not a big deal. We didn't think anything of it. The boys are healthy, so I was just like, we'll just wait until his anatomy scan. So his anatomy scan came, and that was in my announcement video, the larger pictures that you saw when he was bigger. That one was fine. They told me that he was in a weird position, so they couldn't get his full face, and then, what else did they need to get? Oh, his spine, and then a couple more heart pictures. Lincoln was the same way. Didn't think anything of it. So we went back that next time, and they usually leave to get their measurements to see how much they weigh. They took about 10 minutes, and it usually doesn't take them 10 minutes to go get measurements. So sure enough, the doctor came in and sat down, and she said, well, she didn't get a chance to say anything. Let me back up. I looked at her, and I'm familiar with this place. I've gone with all 3 boys, and I looked at her and I said, what did you guys find? Because last time a doctor came in and sat down with me, they told me that Lincoln's kidneys were slightly larger than they wanted them to be, and we were going to check up on it later. So I'm thinking, maybe it's the kidney thing. I don't know. And she said, well, we noticed that he doesn't have a nasal bone, or that is very, very small. She goes, which could be nothing, but that is a pretty significant marker for Down syndrome. And I sat there for a minute, and my brain was just like, okay. So I looked at her and I said, okay, that's fine. And she goes, do you want to come back for another ultrasound recheck? Because maybe he's just not in the position that we need him to be. Give him a chance to grow, and then we'll check and get a clear picture. No problem. So, of course, I call my mom, and let me first off say, the possibility of him having Down syndrome was not upsetting to me. If that's how he's meant to be, that's how he's meant to be. But I called my mom, and my issue, and I don't know if any other parents with Down syndrome, kids with Down syndrome, have experienced these feelings, but my concern was how other people were going to react. Not that it mattered in any way, but my fear was they would see and treat him differently than my other kids, and that's not what I want. I want him to be treated as if he were Sawyer or Lincoln. Just because there's a chromosome addition doesn't mean that he gets special treatment. I was just afraid my other kids were going to be left out. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm overreacting. We'll go back and see what they say. So a couple days later, my doctor called, and he asked me how I felt about it. And I said, well, I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I go, but I don't want to do an amnio. Now, the reasoning for this is, yes, there's such a minimal risk, but why am I going to risk my child when the condition he may have, I'm okay with? Why? I don't see a reason for that. This isn't life-threatening to him. They didn't find anything wrong with his heart. So why put him in that predicament if it's unnecessary? Uh-oh. I hear Lincoln. Hold on. So that's basically why I said no to an amnio. You see yourself in the mirror? You see Dinky Stinky? You see Dinky Stinky? Hi. How are you? How are you? See the camera? Okay, so yeah, my doctor had asked me how I was feeling, and I said, I feel good about it. If that's how he's meant to be, that's how he's meant to be. And so he goes, so I'm getting the impression that no matter what, you're going to be fine. Yep. So originally, I was going to go to a genetic counselor and talk to them. And come to find out, my insurance doesn't cover it past 22 weeks. And they won't cover like the maternity 21, the panorama, won't cover that either. And because I'm past 22 weeks now, can't get the quad screening either. So we're kind of at a standstill. So we have the choice of amnio or wait it out. And that's what we're doing. We are waiting it out. So, I have some pictures from today, and we went back. They checked to see if he miraculously gained a nasal bone, and he did not. So, I've joined some support groups kind of just to talk to other moms, see what their experiences are. And many of them have said the only marker that their child had was no nasal bone. And from the research I've done, having no nasal bone and then, he's going to touch the toilet. Having no nasal bone and a certain heart condition, I can't remember what it is, but I'll put it down here somewhere, are two of the most significant markers. Basically, if they have these markers, there's a better chance that they have it than they don't. So for example, say his leg bones were just a little bit short. That's not a guarantee that he has Down syndrome. However, the fact that he's missing his nasal bone and my other two kids aren't missing theirs, is kind of suspicious. So I figured I would show you guys a picture, well, pictures of him. So I don't know if you can see, hopefully you can. There's one foot. I have to look because I know they call sandal foot for babies with Down syndrome. They have the gap between the big toe and the middle toe. And he has it slightly, but not really. So I'm going to have to look into that. But there's his feet. And then we got some good 3D, 4D pictures because our tech was super, super nice. So we got this one with him covering his face. And a profile picture. And his junk, which I'm not going to be that mean and post on the internet. And more of his profile. On this one, actually, I don't know if you can understand, he's going like this. Kind of like he's going, It was very fun to watch him today. And then we also got this shot, which isn't as good as the one next, which is this little cute face. Look at that face. I cannot get over it. He reminds me of Lincoln. He is so, so close to looking like Lincoln, which is very fun. And then the rest of these are all profile shots. But he is just perfect. I don't know if I can find one that shows that he doesn't have a nasal bone. It usually lights up, like right here, it'll light up. His doesn't. And then also one of the things I had seen was one of the characteristics of some children with Down syndrome is extra skin behind the neck. And thinking back to our first anatomy scan, she had mentioned that he had extra skin behind his neck. None of my other kids had that, and I was like, is that normal? And she was like, oh yeah, it'll go away. So why didn't my other kids have that at 19, 20 weeks? They had perfectly flat right here, down their neck. And he had that extra flap of skin. So we will see. It's kind of a mystery. Is Marshall going to have Down syndrome or not? So I'm looking forward to it. Both me and Dad are okay. We feel like we will love him regardless. He was meant to be here for some reason, and we couldn't be happier. So it is definitely going to be quite the ride. I'd love to do a Q&A specifically on this topic if anyone has any specific questions that I didn't answer in this video. But I tried to look up videos on YouTube on people finding out that their children had Down syndrome, and everyone kind of found out early. No one was really in the waiting game. So I want to share this journey with everyone on waiting and seeing if Marshall has Down syndrome, seeing what extra doctor's appointments I need, what extra ultrasounds, monitoring, whatever. And then also life after having him, if he does have it.